Aloha and welcome to Moonscope's Astrology. I'm your host, KG STILES. I'm here to connect you with your passion and what you love. This is your report for the astrology conjunctions happening in November and December, birthing new cycles in the areas of your life where these conjunctions are occurring. I'll also look at the world chart for a forecast about what this means for us on a collective level. Conjunctions birth new cycles. We are really closing down a major cycle of time we've been in since about mid-summer, mid-July, 1st of July, when we started going into the Uranus square Pluto, and all the breaking apart that's been taking place. There's been a whole revolution, evolution taking place during this time. This time I do have the aspects, the dates for when these conjunctions are happening, and I'll go into what these conjunctions will mean. And as always, if an aspect happens within 3 degrees, sometimes more, depends on how sensitive you are. Sometimes if it's just in a particular sign. Say if you have a strong Sun, Scorpio, or Leo Sun, or, it depends upon how, there are a lot of variables why you feel these aspects stronger at some times than other times. It depends on what's going on for you individually. But I'll do the best I can to give you just a general overview. And like I said, this is, unscripted, what I'm doing. I do have the aspects written up, the dates for those. But, okay, so this new cycle, and there are cycles within cycles. So there are actually a number of cycles being birthed at this time. So, things are about to really change. We're going to really shift out of the place we've been, where, especially this year, we've had this wood horse, this green horse energy. So it's been a lot of, there could be a lot of free-floating anxiety because there's so much sudden change and just all this, just the floodgates opened of all these new impulses coming in at this time, and it can feel quite overwhelming, especially if you're more controlling. The Cancers, the Capricorns. I think just generally the Libran energy, the Cancer, the Capricorn, the Uranus, the Aries, because of what's been going on in those signs. Leo and Scorpio have also been very challenged because of Saturn being in Scorpio and square to Leo. It's also presented quite some challenges for Aquarius because it's been square, and it's really pulling on the Taurus because it's really kind of restricting. There's a lot of illumination happening and there's some restriction happening, and nothing feels normal. And the reason that is because we're switching channels. We're becoming more conscious, we're upgrading our frequencies, and really shifting to our natural self that we're all born with as children. I think during this time, it's a really wonderful time. We're here at Samhain right now. It's a time of the ancestors when the veils are thinnest between the worlds. It's a great time for connecting spiritually. It's a great time for meditating. It could feel more confusing than even usual for some of you because Neptune is going to get ready to slow down. Chiron's been also in Pisces. And so there's a lot of spiritual growth, development of intuition. Psychic abilities are really deepening, moving more and more away from what seemed normal. And the natural does not feel normal. And so there's an adjustment that needs to take place. And I think we've been in a huge adjustment where things feel like they're just breaking apart. The normal is falling away. So that this new way of seeing life and viewing your life can unfold for you. And so it takes a lot of development of courage to just trust in the flow of life, that things are going to be even better for you. There's going to be, you can come into more of a fulfillment and satisfaction for yourself in your life. And how you've been playing, you know, it's just not going to be working anymore. You know, you may have had some results from the way you were living your life previously, and the old things just aren't working. They, you know, as try as you do to get things to work and return to normal, I just, you know, there's going to be a new normal. And part of that is just more a return to authenticity and a return to being your natural self. So, all right, so the first of these conjunctions that happened with the Scorpio solar eclipse, when the sun conjuncted the moon in Scorpio. Now, this is the beginning of the new cycle. This is where Saturn's been hanging out for 2+ years. I mean, it really started moving and started activating Scorpio back, as I said earlier, the mid part of 2012, as we were moving towards the conjunction, the square between Uranus and Pluto. So interesting to note also, we've been in a wood horse year, and we are going into, I think it's the end of February, we actually cross over into a new Chinese year. It's going to be the wood goat. And so I think it will be more stable because it has the goat energy. What's interesting is that the wood energy is very much about spring energy, and Aries is spring energy. It's when we have that birth. In the northern hemisphere, it's the spring equinox. Well, astrologically, that energy psychically in the collective is still presenting new energy. The season may be going into the summer, the fall season, but psychologically, spiritually, on a metaphysical level, we are still moving into this new cycle. A new cycle astrologically is coming on. That's the beginning of the new astrological year, is when we have when we go into Aries. So we have that fire Aries energy joining with Capricorn. Now there's been a square between the Uranus in Aries and the Capricorn, the Pluto in Capricorn, and now they'll join together. So I think that is what's happening, is that now finally, you know, we're going to start both sides, you know, that have seemed in conflict all this time. There's going to be an appreciation and an integration that will begin to take place in our outer world. This has been taking place more for a lot of us internally. We've been going through these changes. I mean, and the more you've been willing to go through these changes internally, the more stable actually your outside. There's been more grace as far as making the changes in the external world. So anyway, that was the first conjunction that gives you an indication of this new cycle that's coming in. You should be having indications of the new things that are coming in. You could be also still just feeling confused. And it's because Neptune, all of us experience the energies of the planets differently. And I think it depends upon how things are hitting you, how that goes. But sometimes, especially since Neptune's slowing down right now before it goes direct it's around November, it's mid-November, around the 14th, I think it is, of November, when Neptune goes direct in Pisces. And when it first goes direct, you know, it can feel stirred up, but then more clarity should feel forthcoming. Whereas the retrograde cycle is really deepening your intuition. So if you don't tend to be very intuitive, that could actually feel unsettling for you. It could feel very unnatural, and there could be a lot of resistance that comes up. So it depends upon where you're at with your own psychic abilities and how developed you are, and with that. So, but hopefully for most of you, when Neptune goes direct, you should feel like your water's clear, like you are finally getting with how things are going, how things are going to be going for you. So also wanted to mention that where Saturn is collectively during this time, Scorpio, the natural placement of Scorpio is the 8th house. And so the 8th house is really about other people appreciating you, feeling valued by other people. So you may have to correct a lot of things so that you feel that, and it's really going to reflect into the 2nd house, which is your house of self-valuing and self-worth. So you're going to have to negotiate for a new space with other people so you feel that you're getting what you're worth. And that because your valuing should be going up, you're getting illuminations about how you've been undervaluing yourself, and that you need to put yourself in the picture so that there's mutuality in your relationships with other people. It's not just one way. So I think that's one of the things that's been going on, and it's when you're getting to new boundaries, because Saturn wants you to set new boundaries in your relationships with others, so you're really getting your needs met, your own self-worth. So if it's been, it depends on how the balance has been, what that looks like in your own personal life. So if you've been really undervaluing yourself, now you're going to be really, wanting to stand up for yourself, stand in your own power with other people. That could require a lot of courage, and it's not going to feel, like the norm. It's going to become the new natural, where there's a balance and give and take in your relationships with other people. Some of the issues with Scorpio are intimacy issues, emotional, psychological issues, how you've maybe had patterns and programs running, how you are in your relationships with yourself and with other people, most specifically with other people. And you just are going to put your foot down. It's not working for you. And there's a new mandate. You have to get your own needs met. Your needs are as valid and as important as anyone else's. And so if it's been the opposite for you, where you were the kingpin, and you wanted it to go your way, had to go your way, then you're going to be getting some mirroring that is like, no, it can't go like that anymore. You're going to have to, be more open to negotiating for space with people so that it comes out. There's balance and harmony. We've been doing all this work in Libra. This whole year, Libra has been really lit up with Mercury retrograde there, so much has been lit up in Libra as far as just getting the balance in the relationships going. So I think now we're going to be seeing that this is coming into form now, this balance. You may need to come up with a little bit more courage here to stand up for yourself, see it for yourself. I think that is one of the primary things, especially with this being a water sign and it's so deep, the Scorpio is so deep. You can really connect with that embodiment so that you really can, because if you can see it, if you can embody it, you can feel it, then the universe can operate on your behalf to bring it about. But if you don't have enough self-worth that you see that for yourself, then you have more work to do. But hopefully by this time, you've really been doing a lot of uncovering about how you've been getting in your own way and sabotaging yourself from getting your own needs met, for your own valuing from others to come through, and that you're really appreciated and people really start showing up to give you valuing and appreciation for who you are, your authentic self, and that you're just born with that. There's nothing really you have to do to be loved. And I can tell you this Pisces energy with Neptune and Chiron is very much about the Holy Spirit, the spirituality. The fishes is symbolically, that was the sign of Jesus, one of the ascended masters. And the whole mystery of the Jesus stories was about transcendence of one's fear, overcoming one's fear. because the crucifixion is a sign of, you know, being nailed to a cross is where you just feel totally in your fear. Everything you've ever, you know, thought would be the worst thing you could possibly imagine, you know, gets catalyzed for you to, you know, overcome. And it's a matter of surrendering the fear. You have to surrender the fear so you can deepen in your trust and in your faith, so that a greater power your greater self can fully become operational. That's a big part of what's going on. Now, October 25th, which we've already been past, Venus conjuncted the Sun. And so this is a really exhilarating, where there's a whole new birth. There's a whole connection with your soul essence, with your love essence, and a feeling of your own self-valuing can come on, and your love for your authenticity and who you are and your natural self really gets birthed at that time. And again, now we move further into the conjunctions. We move on into November 12th, when Venus conjuncts Saturn. So you get really serious about standing up for yourself, standing by yourself, being your own authority, seeing that following your heart. This is where you really have a sense of following your own heart as being your inner authority, where there's an empowerment that happens with your own self-valuing and your own self-worth and coming into your own authority. If you haven't quite taken this on, you could meet with someone as an authority figure where you are challenged to do that for yourself. So standing up for yourself, I mean, all this whole year has been about more self-valuing, standing up for yourself, deepening in your faith, deepening in your intuition, trusting yourself, trusting your higher power, being able to surrender to your greater self, and it guiding you through any trials or tribulations or challenges. And those are rampant right now. There are so many challenges. We're all so challenged from so many different areas of our life. It's not just one area or someone close to us, someone in our world who is actually going through those challenges. And so that's how we come to know it. So, and then on November 18th, the Sun conjunct Saturn. Again, this is your own spiritual authority, because Saturn is about authority. By this time, Saturn's been going through, it's in the later degrees. I forget what degree it is right now. It's probably, I don't know, it might be as much as 25, 26 degrees Scorpio by this time. So by this later degree of Scorpio, you've gone through a lot, not unless you are born in the late part of Scorpio, then you'd still be going through where you're integrating this. And all of us have Scorpio in our chart. This is very active for all of us. I think the sun sign Scorpios have definitely been doing a lot of this work. They've been really doing heavy-duty transformation, transcendence of ego, and it's, those stations that we're going through, they're not easy stations. Transcending the ego, and growing into more of a healthy ego that really receives its directives from your authentic self, your natural self, your greater self, and really having the empowerment. That's what this is right here, because the sun is your soul essence. That's your greater will force, and it really is your life purpose. What you came here to do really comes through the sun sign. It gives a real flavor of your soul essence and your sense of self, your greater sense of self. So, and then on December 8th, we have the final conjunction of these your personal planets with, as they're going through, wait a minute. I forgot to mention, I didn't write down here, there is, and I don't know the exact date when this would happen. I think it must be right around mid-November. I didn't write this date down, but I would think it would be right around the same time that the Sun is conjuncting Saturn. We're going to have Mercury conjunct Saturn. So here we have this whole new sense of authority with our mind. Now we've gone through the love, we've gone through the purpose, and now we're going through the mind. The heart, mind, purpose are all coming on board. They're all getting their spiritual authority. They're all getting their empowerment. And this is you claiming your empowerment in all these aspects of yourself. And so the final empowerment is December 8th. Mercury is going to conjunct the Sun in Sagittarius. This is the same day that Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, stations retrograde. So this could be a pretty strong, where you really internalize this energy, where you just really get the epiphany, the aha, that you are the authority of your life, that you have that choice. And I think, that is what you're getting, is that you really get that the power of choice is yours, and you do have free will. So, how you want, this is a perceptual shift for you, and where you can decide to have a completely new perception, because how you perceive things is what you create, is what you see in your life, the way you're focused to perceive. If you've been coming from an old program about, your life is this, 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 and this, and you've got all these beliefs, your perception is going to view things according to how you've been believing. And now you have an opportunity to shift your perceptions, to shift those beliefs, so that, Neptune has been working to help you change your beliefs, because Neptune has a lot to do with your beliefs, what you have faith in. That's what it's helping you, so that you're deepening in your faith in yourself, you're deepening your own self-worth, you're deepening in that you're as worthy as anyone. You have your divine life essence is the same divine life essence as is within everyone. And in that way, you're united as one. And that is the whole thing that's happening right now, is this at-one-ment, this atonement, this balancing of the energy frequencies, so there is more peace and harmony, so that we create in a collaborative way rather than through competition. So let's see, what else? This is a great time, since we're at Samhain right now. This is when the veils are thinnest, to be connecting with the spiritual worlds. It's always a very good idea to be at peace with everyone in your life, simply because you and energetically, metaphysically, you are one with everything. The energy that's giving life to someone you've perceived as your enemy is the same energy that runs through you. So this is a time when you can begin to change your perceptions and interpretations about other people's behavior towards you. You may have been taking it very personally, when people's behavior is not about you personally. It's if someone's behavior is not who they are, in essence, we're all one. Somebody's behavior is not who they are. It's their behavior. It's not who they are. Metaphysically, we're all spiritual beings, and we have choices. And when we're programmed certain ways, we choose certain programs or behaviors because we think it will keep us safe. And so a lot of our programs, they're not based on love. That is shifting now. They're based on fear. And so it's a defense. We behave in certain ways as a way to defend ourselves. So all that's starting to unravel and fall apart now. It feels uncomfortable because our usual defenses, we feel more vulnerable. We're processing through, our emotions. The energy that's been blocked, our emotions that have been blocked in our body is starting to flow now. You may have noticed that you're more tearful. You're more in touch with your emotions. Certainly, Chiron and Neptune and Pisces would put you much more in touch with your emotions. So this is a good time to connect with your ancestors. You can do a celebration, a festival, to honor your ancestors, call upon them for support. They're there to support you. In the spiritual world, whatever has gone on in the material world has no existence in the spiritual world. It's, all the fear-based stuff has no reality. And the Course in Miracles says, it doesn't, in the spiritual world, it doesn't exist. There's light. There's only light. And the darkness, all these fear-based energies, thoughts, emotions, cannot exist in the spiritual world because it's only light. The darkness, to overcome the darkness, turn on the light. You don't fight the darkness to overcome the darkness, whether it's within yourself or with someone else. The way to eradicate darkness is through the power of love. And you begin to see with, I call angel eyes, the eyes of love, where you begin to, when you shift your perception, you begin to see why somebody is having the kind of behavior they're having. If it may seem really obnoxious or controlling, and you really don't like it, but then when you turn your perception on and see with the eyes of love, then you see what's behind somebody's behavior. And it's, in the Course in Miracles says that either behaviors are born out of love or they are called for love. And it takes a lot of strength and courage for you to be willing to see with the eyes of love, to not turn off your love when somebody's giving you, energies that are not based in love. But that is your power to transform that darkness, that fear, into love through your power to choose love. So on the 21st of December, we have the solstice. The sun enters Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. So there again, the Saturn energy is really getting ready to do a big shift here. Then on December 23rd, Saturn enters Sagittarius. And there's a whole, Sagittarius is about broadening, expanding your mind, changing your beliefs, expanding your horizons. There's a whole new opportunity here. Saturn will be in, it's wide through a lot of the years, but the Uranus, Jupiter, and Saturn are in fire signs. So there is a grand fire trine of energy, happening between these three planets. And so we're going to be able to, there's going to be a lot more inspiration and innovation for finding solutions to these problems that we have at an individual and collective level. There's a lot more can-do energy for being innovative and having more of an open heart. Leo is all about heart and transforming through, there's transforming through the power of love and really being able to shift and change and being able to give foundations. Saturn really gives foundations and form to things. And so it'll give form to new beliefs. It'll give form to new expanded thoughts and ideas and be more spiritually based in the way you, and it's going into the ninth house. Saturn's going into the ninth house, which, is that Sagittarius house, which is about, it's getting along with foreigners. It's appreciating the differences. So anyway, those are some of the insights I have. Now is a great time also, if you feel you're really clinging, you're real clinging to past grievances, and really unable. It's not about condoning other people's behavior at all. It's about you getting free and being at peace in your own mind, because that's very tied in with your own feeling of self-worth, that your own valuing, because there is only one of us here, energetically, metaphysically speaking. If you judge someone else, you're really judging yourself. And so the ego may temporarily feel better, it's got that defense going on, but on a metaphysical level, the soul is never going to be at peace when it's judging, because you're judging yourself. All judgment is self-judgment. So I really encourage you, if you're still carrying wounds from, lack of forgiveness or whatever, for yourself, something you've done, or someone else in your life, especially, well, it doesn't matter. We're all relations. I started to say someone part of your ancestral, close relations. But we're really all close relations. We're all one. There's only one of us here. And it's just really opening our hearts to seeing there is only one of us here. And be willing to transcend and open our heart to helping other people. People do things out of fear and of their own woundedness. And, be willing to forgive other people for their own ignorance. They just don't know any better as yet. When you know better, you do better. So thanks again for joining me. I feel like, I kind of was running on and on there. That's kind of my concern with doing just, spontaneous videos, because I really am considerate of your time, the time you're taking. I do appreciate your feedback, letting me know how this went for you, if this was helpful to you, if you'd like more videos like this one, or what kind of videos you would like. I like doing things that are a little bit different than what everybody else is doing, that speak to you and that are helpful to you and help you to get into your flow and help you to experience more health and happiness in your own life. So thanks again for joining me for this special forecast. I'll be back soon with another astrology forecast, so stay tuned. I think I want to do a video on Saturn and Sagittarius and its effect on each of the signs, each of the horoscope zodiac signs. So I wish you success and happiness always. Take care. Much love. Bye.